this 6-marker A-level biology, comparing and contrasting the structure of starch and the structure of cellulose. So, starch and cellulose, they're both polysaccharides. Starch is made out of alpha glucose, whereas cellulose is made up of beta glucose. Well, that's our first point that we can make there, right? So starch made of alpha glucose and cellulose made of beta glucose. Okay, so I like to do my answers in like these kind of bullet points to make sure I get a marking point, all my marking points down. Okay, so we also mentioned they're both polysaccharides, right? That can actually be written down as a mark. So both are polysaccharides. It says compare and contrast the structure of starch and structure of cellulose. Well, we're comparing, right? We're saying that both are polysaccharides. So sometimes just not trying to overcomplicate and get, just being quite simple and straightforward to the point can get you the mark sometimes. So starch is made up of alpha glucose and cellulose is made up of beta glucose. Both are polysaccharides. What else can we say, right? Well, there's a few ones we can add here. Well, we can say they both contain glycosidic bonds, right? Obviously, in cellulose, the beta glucose is actually inverted 180 degrees. So you have maybe one normal beta glucose to start off with. The second one is inverted. Then you have a third one like attached to it, which is normal, and then so on and so forth. So every other one is basically inverted. This is because cellulose only has 1,4 glycosidic bonds. So for the bonds to reach 1 to 4, obviously one side would be 1, other side would be kind of 4. So it'd be like 1 and then 4. The only reason that these two can kind of reach is because this one is inverted, right? Normally it would be like this. But to get from this one to this one, 1 to 4, is very hard to reach that bond, right? Or very hard to reach that kind of carbon there. So we need to invert this. So from that, to kind of switch it around. So now it becomes, if you switch it 180 degrees, it becomes 4 to 1. And now we can make that bond really easily between each beta glucose molecule. So there's another point there that that just popped up in my head. So this time we can do kind of like a comparison where starch has 1,6 glycosidic bonds as well as 1,4. But if we're comparing, we just say that starch has 1,6 glycosidic bonds, whereas cellulose does not. That's another point there. Now, how many points do we need? We need 2 more points. Okay, 2 more points. Now, our next point we can say is that, well, starch, because it has 1,4 and 1,6 glycosidic bonds, this is mainly due to the amylopectin that starch is made up of. The molecule is branched, right? So starch is branched and cellulose is just a straight, so unbranched. So it only has 1,4 glycosidic bonds. There we go. And another thing is, because starch has amylose, amylose basically allows starch to have a helix shape. So we can say starch is helical or has a helix shape. We can even add, if we wanted to, making it compact. Whereas you can say either one. Cellulose it's not helical or is straight. And there we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. That was probably less than 6 minutes, so minute per mark usually, but we could get those out really quickly. So remembering the structure of starch, remembering the structure of cellulose, remembering that starch has 1,4,1,6 glycosidic bonds due to the amylopectin, and cellulose only has